Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
YouTube, True FM, 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in your barefoot manner, we'll keep your plate.
You might say.
Back in Liberia, pleasant good evening. Welcome to News Desk for the 5 minutes of news from Liberia, Africa, and other parts of the world. Today is Tuesday, May 27, 2025. This is Marka Davis anchoring in the top stories we're following tonight. Following months of diplomatic engagements, Liberia climaxes United Nations Security Council seat campaign today in New York. United States government donates over $150,000 in advanced endoscopic equipment to the 14 military hospitals to enable diagnosis and treatment of serious conditions, including cancer. Myean County Senator Edwin Snow expresses fears for his life or for the life of his family following government accusation against him, calls on the Liberian Senate to ensure security protection for his family. And out of Liberia, Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa signs into law a controversial bill that requires all drivers to buy a radio license before acquiring vehicle insurance, according to the BBC. The details of these developments, including the bulletin of news, voices of the newsmakers, sports, are all packaged in this edition of News Desk. We're taking a short break to be back.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
YouTube, True FM, 96.1.
Joining us, this news program is powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. Up next is the bulletin of news with Naketa Roberts.
Liberia is climaxing its campaign for the United Nations Security Council seat in New York today. The country is vying for one of the 5 non-permanent seats on the Security Council in the June 3, 2025 election for the 2026-2027 term. Speaking to RCA News Tuesday from New York, Assistant Foreign Minister for International Organizations, Charisma Fernand Red, expressed confidence that Liberia will win the seat. She said winning one of the 5 non-permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council will once again put Liberia in its rightful place among the Committee of Nations. Assistant Minister Red noted that a victory for Liberia would give the country the leverage to advocate for other smaller nations around the world. The United States government has donated over $150,000 in advance endoscopic equipment to the armed forces of Liberia's 14 military hospitals. The donation was made through the Department of Defense Overseas Humanitarian Disaster Assistance and Civic Aid ODACA program. According to a statement issued on Tuesday by the U.S. Embassy in Myean, this high-tech equipment will enable AFL medical teams to diagnose and treat serious conditions, including cancer, using invasive procedures. The release further disclosed that U.S. military medics from the Michigan National Guard also visited the 14 military hospital last week, reinforcing Liberia's ability to deliver high-quality health and respond to future medical needs. The U.S. government said it is about building capability, not dependency. The statement quotes the U.S. Embassy as saying the U.S.-Liberia partnership is shifting from aid to trade, advancing security, stability, and self-reliance. Myean County Senator Edwin Snow has expressed fears for his life and that of his family following allegations of his plot to destabilize the government of Liberia. The Myean County Senator is meanwhile seeking the Senate's support to ensure security protection for his family. He disclosed following As his disclose followed the Ministry of Information's recent outburst condemning a statement attributed to Senator Snow that he will do everything possible to ensure the Barker-led government fails. The Bowman County Senator, though in Tuesday's section, said he and his family are currently living in fear since the statement released by the Information Ministry. According to him, the government has accused him of treason, adding that such a statement against him should not be taken lightly. Snow said although he stands by his statement for the Barker government to be a one-term government, at no time he threatened to overthrow the government. In another development, Senator Edwin Snow has requested the Liberian Senate to launch an investigation into the allegation made against him by the Information Ministry. Senator Snow, in a statement, is demanding for an investigation to establish where and when he threatened to overthrow the government, calling on the Information Ministry to retract the statement made against his person. According to him, once the investigation is conducted and he is found guilty, the Senate leadership should remove him from all committees to allow him face the full weight of the law. He said if not found guilty, the Ministry of Information should retract their statement and issue an apology. Meanwhile, the Vice President of Liberia, Jeremiah Cohn, in response to Senator Snow, urged him to remain calm as his life, including his family, are fully protected. The Vice President, however, cautioned Senator Snow to be careful with his statements in public. As Liberia initiates its first agro-industrial processing zone project in Grand Bassa County, young people of the county have been urged to prepare themselves for the approaching job opportunities. The word of caution was contained in a comment made by Vice President Jeremiah Cohn. In the statement, Vice President Cohn urged the young people in Grand Bassa to utilize the University of the county if they are to benefit from the employment opportunity. He noted that the project is meant to improve the life of the people of Grand Bassa County with thousands of payable jobs, but if they are not prepared academically, they will not benefit. The cost of the agro-industrial processing zone is $19.4 million United States dollars and is being managed by the Liberia Special Economic Zones Authority. In a related news, the government of Liberia has disclosed that it spent $719 million US dollars in 2023 to improve import food and other basic goods in the country. The announcement was made by Deputy Minister of Commerce and Trade Wilmert Reed grounds for the establishment of Liberia's agro-industrial processing zone in Grand Bassa County. The Deputy Commerce Minister lamented that farm produce from faraway countries usually spoil when they get to Monrovia due to the lack of sophistication in processing them. Minister Rees indicated that goods imported leads to the empowerment of other countries and breeds on employment in Liberia. He lauded President Joseph Boakai for taking the challenge to translate the long-awaited dream into reality. Minister Reed then assured the Liberia Special Economic Zones Authority and the Agro-Industrial Processing Zone project that the Commerce Ministry will provide the needed support for sustainability. The government of Liberia, Action Aid Liberia, and other partners have announced an elaborate program in commemoration of the 2025 Menstrual Health and Hygiene Day in Monrovia this Wednesday. The program is part of efforts to create awareness and educate the public about the importance of menstrual health and hygiene. This year's Menstrual Health and Hygiene Day is being celebrated under the theme Together for a Period-Friendly World. As part of the global celebration of Menstrual Hygiene Day 2025, Action Aid Liberia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender and key partners, will host a national parade and official indoor celebration this Wednesday. According to Madame Pierwan Dolopie of the Liberia Women Empowerment Network, the event aims to amplify voices calling for menstrual equity, break the silence and stigma around menstruation, and promote access to affordable, quality menstrual products. The Liberia Women Empowerment Network is one of the organizations implementing Action Aid's Just and Equal Communities project, and Madam Das Dolopie said their role is to lift the voices of marginalized women and girls to have access to quality and affordable menstrual products. The Ministry of Justice, through the Minister of Justice, has threatened drastic actions against institutions connected to alleged acts of human trafficking across the country. Councillor Oswald Twere said they have gathered the names of several of those institutions that are operating on a false pretense, collecting money from Liberian students with the intent to provide them scholarships abroad. The Justice Minister named several of those institutions when he appeared on a radio show Tuesday and said majority of Liberians who leave the country do not enter any university. The Independent National Human Rights Commission has committed itself to working with the Office for the establishment of the World in Economic Crimes Court and having individuals accused of war crimes prosecuted. RNCHR, through its chairperson, Councillor Dempsey Brown, expressed dismay over the dominance of those who he said commit war crimes and crimes against humanity in appointed and elected positions of government. According to him, in order for the culture of impunity to be abolished, individuals must be held accountable for their actions, though in the word, in line with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommendations. Speaking at program marking the signing of an MOU with the Office of the Establishment of the World in Economic Crimes Court in Liberia, Councillor Brown made specific reference to the legislature when he said individuals who engage in corruption and committed heinous crimes during the war are enjoying state power. He described the court's establishment as President Boakar's legacy, reaffirming the Commission's commitment to ensuring that people account for their actions. For his part, the executive director of the Office for the Establishment of the War in Economic Crimes Court, Councillor Jalababu, has assured zero political interference in the processes leading to the establishment of the courts. According to Councillor Babu, the process leading to the court's establishment is Liberian-driven process, and the government has assured a non-interference policy in executing its mandate. He disclosed all processes leading to the establishment of the two courts is on course, setting 2026 and 2027 as the set year for the establishment of the Anti-Corruption Court and the War Crime Court, respectively. Speaking Tuesday in Monrovia at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the OWECCL and the Independent National Human Rights Commission, Councillor Babu reassured the international community of the Liberian government political will to ensure the courts are established. The father of a senior student of the J.J. Roberts United Methodist School has finally broken silence of his $300,000 United States lawsuit against the administration of the school following an assault on his son's left eye by the Dean of Student Affairs. On Tuesday, the victim's father, Richard Tamara, reaffirms to our judicial correspondent that they are currently before the 6th Judicial Circuit Court of Montserrat County, known as the Civil Law Court, with a $300,000 United States lawsuit against the Dean of Student Affairs, Dolo Morba, and the school's administration. Tamara revealed that since Dean Dolo Morba alleged assault on his son left eye in December 2024 on the school campus, the school authority has been insensitive to the plight of his son, causing him to lose his sight gradually. The victim's father, according to our judicial correspondent, further dispelled reports that the intent of his legal action against the school authority is for monetary gain, claiming that his only concern is for his son to seek treatment abroad. Following her induction as chairperson of the Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia, Margibi County District 3 Representative L.A. Arthur Red has reaffirmed the caucus' commitment to promoting gender-responsive legislation, empowering women, and increasing the caucus' involvement in all areas of national development. Representative where noted that the caucus will work in strengthening legislative functions by promoting gender-sensitive lawmaking. She lauded the Boubacar Koun administration for the inclusion of women in government, but emphasized that the low number of women in leadership positions reflects unresolved structural issues. Representative Ellen Atterwell, who succeeded Senate Pro Tempore Yomlikanga Lawrence, called for actions regarding Liberia's commitment to regional and global agreements aimed at advancing gender equality and women's empowerment. In a landmark moment for Liberia's maritime sector, MP Terminals Liberia and Stizard have officially presented Captain Sam Jabba and Captain Williams Adolphus Lieutenant as the country's first certified marine pilot and talk master. Both Liberians were trained under the transformative local capacity building initiative. The ceremony took place recently in Monrovia at the National Port Authority and the Liberia Maritime Authority, where both institutions formally received the two marine professionals. Speaking at the program, NPA National, that's Managing Director Sekou Dukle, expressed deep appreciation for the investment APN Terminal and Standard have made in Liberian talent. He revealed that the achievement aligns directly with President Joseph Boakar's vision for economic self-reliance and global competitiveness. For his part, the Commissioner of Liberia Maritime Authority, Councillor Neto Zaza Lage, informed that's reinforced the importance of these milestones as parts of a strategic national push. Out of Liberia now, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has signed into law a contentious bill that requires all motorists to buy a radio license before acquiring vehicle insurance. There have been an outcry from some motorists as they will now have to pay $92 annually in order to listen to radio in their vehicles. The introduction of the measure is part of a plan to widen revenue sources for the state broadcaster, but critics say the lesson fees is too high, especially given the difficult economic situation. Leading opposition figure Nelson Chamasa said the new law is too draconic for the ordinary people. But the broadcasters is struggling to make people pay for their TV and radio lessons. Critics have been calling for the swamping of the fees, accusing ZBC of biased coverage in favor of the governing ZANU PF. The opposition has complained of unfair coverage by the broadcasters, especially during elections. ZBC has denied the accusations. That's RCR News Bulletin is back to Marka Davis for the continuation of News Decks.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV.
Into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakar's if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your better Liberia.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen the represent. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the president.
Roberts for bringing us the news bulletin tonight. It is a regular feature here on News Decks. If you're just joining us, you're listening to 45 minutes of the latest news from Liberia and other parts of the world. One of the top stories we are following tonight: the United States government donates over $150,000 in advanced endoscopic equipment to the 14 military hospital to enable diagnosis and treatment of serious conditions, including cancer. To this first development, Liberia is climaxing its campaign for the United Nations Security Council seat in New York today. The country is vying for one of the 5 non-permanent seats on the Security Council in the June 3, 2025 election for the 2026-2027 term. Speaking to RCR News on Tuesday from New York, Assistant Foreign Minister for International Organizations Karishma Roberts expressed confidence that Liberia will win the seat. She said winning one of the 5 non-permanent seats on the UN Security Council will once again put Liberia in its rightful place among the Committee of Nations. Assistant Minister Roberts noted that a victory for Liberia will give the country the leverage to advocate for other smaller nations around the world. She spoke early this morning before the official program marking the climaxing of Liberia's campaign.
That we are finally coming to a climax of the campaign today in New York. We will be closing up the campaign from 1 to 3 p.m. in New York today at the UN headquarters. And then we get prepared for next week, Tuesday, which will be June 3rd, which is the voting process, where Liberia will be officially voted in on the council, the Security Council, as a non-permanent member. It's been a tough ride, but Liberia deserves it. Liberia have been here when it comes to diplomacy, when it comes to the international stage. We have had our ups and downs since the war, and we were able to maintain our peace, come back on track. We are still struggling with certain things, but yes, we are a country that is from war. We also a country that is still healing, and it's overwhelming that you see people telling you that, oh, it's already on the council, because it's not magic. Let me give a big applause to my boss, Her Excellency Ms. Sarah Yanti, who is the visionary behind this entire movement, working closely with the president in this country's agenda. This is about Liberia. One thing I just on the radio here today. This is about Liberia. This is not a political party or individual. No, this is about Liberia, the image of Liberia. Being on the Security Council is no joke. It's a big seat any country can have at the United Nations, at the international level. So I will say to all Liberians this morning, pray for Liberia. Put Liberia, despite political differences, whether you are from the E, you are from the CET, you are from the ANC, you are from political party. This is not about political party, this is for country. Yes.
She is Assistant Foreign Minister for International Organizations Karishma Roberts there speaking this morning on the Truth Breakfast show. County Senator Edwin Snow has expressed fears for his life and that of his family following allegations of his ploy to destabilize the government of Liberia. The Myean County Senator is meanwhile seeking the Senate's support to ensure security protection for his family. His disclosure followed the Ministry of Information's recent outburst condemning a statement attributed to Senator Snow that he will do everything possible to ensure the Bwaka-led government fails. The Myean County Senator during Tuesday's section said he and his family are currently living in fears since the statement was released by the Information Ministry.
Via TV, True FM.
In Via TV, True FM.
On Via TV,
YouTube, Truth FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll keep your better Liberia.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
some news summary at 12. My name is Hansen there represent.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life, that's what you see. I have a different life. You know, when I was not president.
To this development, here the government of Liberia, Action Aid, and other partners have announced an elaborate program in commemoration of this year's Menstrual Health and Hygiene Day in Monrovia this Wednesday. The program is part of efforts to create awareness and educate the public about the importance of menstrual health and hygiene. This year's Menstrual Health and Hygiene Day is being celebrated under the theme Together for a Period-Friendly World. According to Madam Plewon Dolopi of the Liberia Women Empowerment Network, the event aims to amplify voices calling for menstrual equality or equity, break the silence and stigma around menstruation, and promote access to affordable, quality menstrual products.
It is like a taboo because traditionally, especially the cultural barrier associated with it, that women, when they are menstruating, we shouldn't discuss issues with our children. We shouldn't, it is like a shameful thing. So we have come here to break that stigma and that taboo where we should be able to discuss menstrual hygiene or menstruation at homes, even with boys, so that they can know that this is a normal, regular thing that women go through and they need our assistance. To also amplify the voices of young women and girls at the national level, at the legislature, where duty bearers will be able to talk about the policy pushing the legislature to pass into law reduction of tariff on menstrual hygiene resources like the PAC, so that every young girl and woman in Liberia will be able to obtain these things freely, and also on family planning. We have many more so that everybody will be able to get access to these things and their health and be able to get access and free pass and even in schools to be able to talk about the menstruation and to also do away with the stigma that are associated with our menstruation.
Cheers, Madam Dolope. Sewa there speaking. She's from the Liberia Women Empowerment Network, one of the organizations implementing Action Aid's Just and Equal Communities project. She spoke Monday on the Truth Breakfast show about the grand celebration of the Menstrual Hygiene Day on tomorrow in Monrovia. Following her induction as chairperson of the Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia, Margibi County District 3 Representative Ellen Atore has reaffirmed the caucus's commitment to promoting gender-responsive legislation, empowering women, and increasing the caucus's involvement in all areas of national development. Representative Ray noted that the caucus will work in strengthening legislative functions by promoting gender-sensitive lawmaking.
Leadership. It is a moment to reaffirm the role of the Women's Legislative Caucus to set a clear direction for the term ahead. Our mandate remains focused to work across political lines to advance gender equality and women's political participation, to bring women's voices into legislation, and to make our governance more inclusive and responsive. But wrestling has a long way to go. Women make up 11% of the legislature. At the council level, representation is even more. We have seen improvements in cabinet and deputy ministerial appointments after the 2023 elections, which is commendable, but overall the numbers reflect structural barriers that remain unresolved, rejecting long-standing norms on equal access to education, resources, and systems that do not fully support women's needs. Liberia has signed onto global and regional commitments from the CEDAW and the Maputo Protocol. These are not symbolic. We need to see actions. They come with clear obligations to remove the legal and structural barriers are holding women back. One of the clearest steps we can take is passing a gender quota law. In 2022, the caucus worked to amend the elections law to include a 30% mandatory quota for candidate lists. The bill passed both houses but did not become a law. Still, it was a strong signal of what is possible when women organize and act with shared purpose. In this new term, the caucus plans to work advocate for comprehensive framework on temporary special measures, including binding gender quota for both legislative and temporary special measures, including a binding gender quota that will encourage women and make it more enforceable. Our strategic plan 2024 to 2028 lays out the clear priorities, strengthening the legislative action by promoting gender sensitivity in lawmaking and championing specific laws that will support gender priority in leadership and reflect the realities of women and girls across Liberia.
She is the new chairperson of the Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia, Margibi County District 3, Representative Ellen Ator Red, there speaking during her induction today in Monrovia. In a landmark moment for Liberia's maritime sector, APM Terminals Liberia and FISA have officially presented Captain Sam Jabba and Captain William Adolphus Lassanan as the country's first certified marine pilot and talk master. Both Liberians were trained under a transformative local capacity building initiative. The ceremony took place recently in Monrovia at the National Port Authority and the Liberia Maritime Authority, where both institutions formally received the two marine professionals. Speaking at the program, NPA Managing Director Sekou Dukle expressed deep appreciation for the investment by APM Terminals and partners in the Liberian talents.
When we signed the Berry Services Agreement last year, the selling point of that agreement to the public and His Excellency was the Liberianization of that program. Whenever my name was in the press for all the wrong reasons, to say the right thing, when I went to explain to him was chief, we did this because our folks, our partners at APM Terminals, Spitzer assured us that they will start training to the half. We nominated, I believe, 4 more. And over the course of the next 5 years, we are going to make sure that when the transition is done, this program is taken over by Liberians. And today, 7 Williams, 50 deposit, you better deposit on Liberia. So, let's give them.
For his part, the Commissioner of the Liberia Maritime Authority, Councillor Neto Zazalahai, reinforced the importance of these milestones as part of a strategic national push. The maritime boss said, with extended port hours and increasing demands, the country will need more certified captains, pilots, and engineers.
Appreciate APM Terminal and CIPSA for the innovation. I know I've had good relationship with the two companies even before coming here. And I know one thing is this whole idea about promoting the Liberianization policy and training Liberians, provide them the opportunity. One thing that is very important for this occasion is the fact that NPA has informed us that they are working towards 3 shifts, meaning 18 hours operations at the port. Now, if for any reason they are working in consultation with APM Terminal and they should be having more time at the port, it means that we will be in need of a lot of captains, and I'm happy that he just said that you have about 2 more in training. That would be good. Let me say big thank and congratulations to our colleagues. Again, this is a major sector. You know how intense it is.
He is the Commissioner General of the Liberia Maritime Authority, Constantino Zazalahai. They're speaking earlier on. You listened to Sekou Dukle, the Managing Director of the National Port Authority. They spoke at the ceremony where Two Liberian marine professionals were presented to the government of Liberia. Meanwhile, Captain Sam Java and Captain William Adolphus Lansana thanked APM Terminus Liberia for the training and the government of Liberia for the opportunity. Well, if you're just joining us, you are listening to News Dex, 45 minutes of the latest news packaged by the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. Up next is Sports with Edwin Batafoyan.
Good evening, Marka Davis. Good evening, everyone. More than 100 Liberian basketball players, both male and female, are currently participating in a 3-day Jordan Nora Elite Basketball Camp at the SKD Basketball Gymnasium in Pinzio. This initiative is part of FBI's 3 broader strategy to promote and strengthen grassroots basketball development across the West African sub-region. Since its inception in 2020, the Jordan Nora Foundation has hosted elite basketball camps across Africa and in other parts of the world, positively impacting thousands of young athletes. The foundation mission is rooted in providing professional coaching, mentorship, and exposure to emerging talents, particularly those from under-resourced communities. In Liberia, camp participants are receiving intensive training in key skill areas including shooting, dribbling, defense, teamwork, and game strategy. Beyond athletic development, the camp aims to install the leadership qualities, boost confidence, and inspire participants to pursue opportunities in college and professional basketball. On Tuesday, Coach Ellis Noah, director of the Jordan Noah Foundation and father of NBA player Jordan Noah, addressed the participants, sharing motivation and insight and words of encouragement.
Go from country to country, trying to pass the knowledge of the game according to Jordan's vision, who's also my son, who I trained from when he was young. I also traveled over Africa with me when I was coaching for the national team. He saw Torgbean, decided to give back to the continent if he makes it to the NBA, which he did. He spent 4 years, one NBA championship with Giannis, with Milwaukee Bucks, and now he's playing his first year in EuroLeague at Ethics. But I'm happy to be here today. Talking about this time, it's being streamed out. We have a lot of audience over the world, especially in the United States. We have close to about 20 something that benefited from my camp as scholarships to be born to school.
Meanwhile, the Liberia Basketball Association has cancelled every match this Wednesday at SKD Gymnasium to further date due to the ongoing youth basketball camp. The Liberia Taekwondo Federation (LTF) has announced the indefinite suspension of 8 Taekwondo clubs effective immediately due to persistent non-compliance with federation activities and reported misconduct. The suspended clubs are Dragon Legend Professional Taekwondo Club, Grace Taekwondo Club by from Cobra, PF Taekwondo by from Cobra Institute, Dragon B Lead 3, Dragon Lead 2 Taekwondo Institute, by from Cobra Art and by from Cobra Taekwondo Institute. According to an official communication obtained by this outlet, the suspension stems from the club's repeated absentees from official LTF events and programs over an extended period despite several invitations and follow-up reminders from the Federation. The statement noted that the affected clubs failed to provide an informal written or verbal explanation for the continued absence, which the Federation viewed as breach of organizational conduct and protocol. Furthermore, the communication cited incidents of disrespectful behavior, including insulting remarks directed at the Federation officials in online chat rooms, which were deemed to have undermined the leadership and integrity of the Liberia Taekwondo Federation Executive Committee. Following a thorough review by the Grievance and Ethics Committee, the Liberia Taekwondo Federation resolved to impose an immediate suspension on the listed clubs, barring them from participating in any taekwondo-related activities within the Republic of Liberia until further notice, until otherwise directed. And away from Liberia, Myean has signed a new 6-year Barcelona contract following a breakout season in which he helped the Catalan club win the domestic treble. The 17-year-old Spain winger's existing deal was set to expire at the end of the 2025-2026 season, but his new contract keeps him with Barcelona until June 2031. That's it for the latest in the world of sports.
Well, thanks to Erin Batafoyan for bringing us sports tonight on the news program. In more developments tonight, the father of a senior student of the J.J. Roberts United Methodist School has finally broken silence on his $300,000 United States dollar lawsuit against the administration of the school following an assault on his son's left eye by the Dean of Student Affairs. On Tuesday, the victim's father, Richard Tamba, reaffirmed to our judicial correspondent that they are currently before the 6th Judicial Circuit Court of Massarauga County, known as the Civil Law Court, with a $300,000 lawsuit against the Dean of Student, Dodo Moba, and the school authority.
Because my son injury has been overlooked. When you move overlook, what do you really mean? When I say overlook, I mean that the school is not paying attention to what has happened to my son. I have texted the principal so many times that the boy still needs medical care, and he overlooked the situation. He said, when this incident took place in 2024, what were you ready for? I was seeking proper medical care for my son. That's what I was seeking. Bishop, advanced treatment abroad. Yes, advanced treatment abroad. What the school respond to that? The school response was if JFK will do surgery, then we will do and we understand JFK doctors inform you this 50 chance in terms of the son. JFK said that the surgery will be 50% chance the boy will see, and it's 50% chance the boy will not see. So as of now that we speak, after the surgery, the boy have not really gained his sight. He cannot see out. Since we instituted this against this, we understand that the school have lost and the investigation is supposed to be done long time ago. We cannot start investigating now. Soon has been found that the school yes, not very serious. Yes.
He is Richard Tamba, the father of a senior student of the J.J. Roberts International, that's United Methodist School. There, speaking with our reporter Peter Tobe. The Independent National Commission on Human Rights has committed itself to working with the Office for the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code in having individuals accused of war crimes prosecuted. INCHR, through its chairman, Councillor Dempster Brown, expressed dismay over the dominance of those who, he said, committed war crimes and crimes against humanity in appointed and elected positions of government.
Today is the message of the president. This is first invitation of this country to try to abolish culture of impunity. It's interesting to know the TRC report came out with 2%. What is interesting, the criminal accountability is one of the major ones that we want to do. The biggest mistake that other made is to the government that people when they say it, slaughter people they are there. When the House of Representatives people that slaughter our children, they are there. I heard somebody saying that I'm not saying international law says that there is no amnesty on war crimes and crimes against humanity. So those are in the House of Representatives and somebody is telling the minister today, they should get ready. We will prosecute all of them. Why do you even have to say it? We indict you and help you and carry you. The reason why we are doing is avoid this. Do you know that people say the president and they threaten the security of the state?
First Party Executive Director of the Office for the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code, Councillor Jala Babu, has assured zero political interference in the processes leading to the establishment of the courts. According to Councillor Babu, the process leading to the court's establishment is Liberian-driven, and the government has assured a non-interference policy in executing the mandates of the office.
The Liberian people, the Liberian government is sending on board the carry. In fact, it is the Liberian government's initiative that we now carry out, and we have to assurance the government of Liberia that there will be no political interference. And should there be any political interference, I want to inform the Liberian people that will be the first executive director to inform them of such political interference. On the other hand, I want to show the international community, the Liberian people, and all stakeholders that at the end of the day,
We're supposed to be established.
He is the Executive Director of the Office for the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code, Councillor Jala Babu. There, speaking earlier on, you listened to the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown. They spoke at the signing of a memorandum of understanding today in Monrovia. Well, today's story, finally, Bome County Senator Edwin Snow has expressed fears for his life and that of his family following allegations of his plot to destabilize the government of Liberia. The Bome County Senator is meanwhile seeking the Senate's support to ensure security protection for his family.
To the Ministry of Information and accused me of wanting to overthrow the Labour of design. Tracing in our constitution is no small charge. Now, tracing for life of death. Press release, Commission of Information, and noting that remember the things in this country, but for now, you go to jail and are killed. All of this political dispensation. So I want to publicly tell you and the person, whenever misinformation or conferences and you shall repeat that only government, not to the government, must still have a statement. There was misinformation all of the leadership.
Meanwhile, the president of the Liberian Senate, Vice President Jeremiah Cohn, in response to Senator Snow, urged him to remain calm as his life, including his family, are fully protected. The Vice President, however, cautioned Senator Snow to be careful of his statements in public. No, he's the president of the Liberian Senate, Vice President Jeremiah Cohn, there speaking today in section. Well, this is how we love to go home tonight on this presentation of News Decks. But before we go, a recap of the top stories we followed. Following months of diplomatic engagements, Liberia clamors United Nations Security Council seat campaign today in New York. United States government donates over $150,000 in advanced endoscopic equipment to the 14 military hospital to enable diagnosis and treatment of serious conditions, including cancer. Bome County Senator Edwin Snow expresses fears for his life and the life of his family following government accusation against him, calls on the Liberian Senate to ensure security protection for his family. And of the home front, Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa signs into law a controversial bill that requires all drivers to buy a radio license before acquiring vehicle insurance, according to the BBC. Many thanks to all of you for your listening. Well, thanks to our reporters and all those who helped to make this edition of News Decks a success. Thanks to affiliate radio stations across the country for relaying the news program. Naketa Roberts read the news bulletin tonight. Erin Batafoyan brought sports. Cooper Sanga coordinated the sounds. And as usual, Myean Torgbean has been behind the cameras. Thanks to our sponsors, EcoBank Liberia Limited and Orange Liberia. My name is Marka Davis. Good night.
Ria TV, True FM.
Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
True FM, 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we will keep your data like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen the Represent.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Those connecting those things.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Myean TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.